Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Tennis Today, we're diving into a story that is sending shockwaves across the tennis world, and it's unfolding right now under the blazing South Florida sun at the legendary Miami Open. The headline everyone is talking about, the moment that has Miami buzzing with excitement, is the arrival of a 20-year-old Filipino sensation, Alexandra Eala. She has officially landed in Miami, and she's making one thing crystal clear. She's ready for a battle on the hard courts. And when we say battle, we mean the brutal, high-stakes warfare of elite professional tennis. This is the WTA Tour at the prestigious WTA 1000 level, a stage where careers are defined, legacies are forged, and ranking points determine survival. What we are witnessing right now is the highly anticipated return of a player who completely turned this tournament upside down just 1 year ago. If you follow tennis, you already know the story. You remember what happened in 2025. You remember how history was rewritten. But if you're just catching up, let's set the stage for why the atmosphere in Miami Gardens is currently buzzing with electricity. Because Alexandra Eala is not just another name in the draw this year. She's the returning breakout star. The Cinderella story of last season, proof that fairy tales in tennis can be written with a fearless left-handed forehand, relentless movement, and an unbreakable will. But this year, the narrative has completely changed. The element of surprise is gone. The hunter has become the hunted. Eala is walking onto the courts of Hard Rock Stadium not as an unknown wild card hoping for a miracle, but as a seeded player, a recognized threat, and a rising force inside the top 32 of the world rankings. And with that new status comes an entirely different level of pressure. Because she isn't just playing for herself anymore. She's carrying the hopes of an entire nation. The biggest story circulating across the tennis world right now centers on her mindset after a difficult exit from Indian Wells Open just days ago. After suffering a tough loss in the California desert, many analysts wondered if the pressure of the famous Sunshine Double might finally begin to crack her armor. Instead, Alexandra Eala has flipped the narrative completely. She has arrived in Miami calm, focused, and quietly confident. Her message to the tour was simple. Whether she wins the entire tournament or exits in the first round, she is here to stay. And that's not just a routine quote. That's a warning to the entire locker room. Because this is no longer just the story of a young prodigy finding her place on the professional circuit. This is now a high-stakes thriller about a 20-year-old defending crucial ranking points, fighting to prove that last year's miracle run wasn't luck, but the beginning of something much bigger. Over the next few minutes, we're going to go far beyond the headlines. We'll break down her incredible run here last year, analyze her form coming out of Indian Wells, examine the brutal mathematics of ranking points on the WTA Tour, and explore the psychological battle she now faces in Miami. So buckle up, because the Miami Open is about to become a battleground, and Alexandra Eala is right at the center of it. But to truly understand the magnitude of this moment, we have to rewind the clock to March of 2025, back to the tournament where everything changed. Because 1 year ago, Alexandra Eala arrived in South Florida ranked outside the top 100. She was still a teenager, just a wild card entry, a player most top seeds probably expected to face in an early round warm-up. What happened next no one saw coming. What followed next was nothing short of a sporting earthquake. Alexandra Eala didn't just win matches during her incredible run at the Miami Open in 2025. She dismantled established stars of the game. Her first massive statement came against former Grand Slam champion Jelena Ostapenko. Using extraordinary court coverage and relentless defense, Eala neutralized Ostapenko's explosive baseline power and forced the Latvian star into uncomfortable rallies. Then came another shock. Eala faced American powerhouse Madison Keys and stunned the home crowd with a tactical masterclass. Instead of trying to overpower Keys, she absorbed the blistering pace and redirected it with surgical precision, turning defense into attack. But the ultimate test was still waiting. In a match that will be replayed in tennis highlights for years, Eala stepped onto the court against world number 2 Iga Swiatek. And she won. That victory proved something extraordinary. Eala didn't just possess elite athletic ability, she had the mental strength required to defeat the very best on the WTA Tour. By the end of that historic run, the records were shattered. She became the first Filipina in history to reach the semifinals of a WTA 1000 tournament. She became the first Filipino woman to defeat a Grand Slam champion at a tour-level event in the Open era. And incredibly, she became the first wild-card player to defeat 3 major champions in straight sets at a single WTA event. Her magical journey eventually ended in the semifinals against Jessica Pegula in a grueling 3-set battle. But by then, the damage was already done. A legend had been born. Eala walked away from Miami with 390 ranking points and a brand new identity in the sport, a global tennis phenomenon. Now fast forward to March 2026. Everything has changed. Eala now sits at a career-high ranking inside the top 32, which makes her a seeded player at this year's Miami Open. On paper, being seeded is a major advantage. It usually grants a first-round bye, giving players extra time to rest and adapt to the heavy, suffocating humidity of South Florida. But with that privilege comes an invisible and brutal burden. Professional tennis rankings operate on a rolling 52-week system. That means the 390 points Eala earned during last year's miracle run are about to disappear unless she defends them. If she fails to reach the semifinals again, her ranking could collapse dramatically. One early loss could send her tumbling from the top 30 back down into the 50s or even 60s. All the progress she's built, the rankings climb, the seeded status, the favorable draws at major tournaments like French Open and Wimbledon championships, could vanish in a single afternoon. That is the bloody battle everyone is talking about. It's a fight against mathematics, a fight against expectations, and a fight against the towering legacy of her own incredible breakthrough. Now, let's examine the momentum she brings into this moment. The tennis calendar calls this brutal stretch the Sunshine Double, beginning with the Indian Wells Open in California and ending in Miami. Eala entered Indian Wells as the 31st seed, and early on she looked brilliant. She defeated Diana Yastremska with authority, showing the sharp aggression that had made her such a threat the year before. Then she faced American superstar Coco Gauff. Eala captured the first set before Gauff unfortunately had to retire due to an arm injury. Suddenly, Eala was back in the round of 16 at another WTA 1000 event. But the tour is ruthless. Her run ended abruptly against the 14th seed Linda Noskova of the Czech Republic. Noskova delivered a brutal scoreline, 6-2, 6-0. A loss like that, especially a second-set bagel on a massive stage, can be psychologically devastating. It can destroy confidence right before the most important title defense of a young career. And yet this is where Eala separates herself. Instead of retreating or making excuses, she faced the media with remarkable maturity. She admitted she struggled to find her rhythm. She acknowledged the difficult lesson. Then she reset mentally, even taking a quiet moment at the famous Santa Monica Pier to clear her mind. And then she delivered the quote that has the entire tennis world talking. "It doesn't matter if I win the tournament in Miami or lose in the first round. I know I'm here, and I'm here to stay." That level of confidence after a crushing loss reveals the psychological armor she carries. Eala understands something crucial. Progress in tennis is never linear. The road to the top 10 is paved with brutal lessons and relentless battles. Her game is built for exactly that kind of fight. As a left-hander with a lethal two-handed backhand, she creates natural angles that disrupt traditional right-handed baseline players. Her ability to transform desperate defense into sudden offense is elite. But Miami will test two critical elements, her serve and her stamina. The slow, high-bouncing courts inside Hard Rock Stadium demand extreme endurance. Matches often become grueling physical wars. And Eala has made it clear, she's ready for that fight. Then there's another factor, the crowd. Miami is home to a massive and passionate Filipino community. Last year, the stands were filled with Philippine flags, and every Eala winner triggered roars that sounded like a World Cup final. That energy can be both a gift and a burden. It can push a player through exhaustion, but it also magnifies the pressure of every mistake. Eala isn't just competing for ranking points or prize money. She's carrying the hopes of more than 100 million Filipinos. She is the trailblazer of Philippine tennis, pushing boundaries no one from her country has ever crossed before. Managing that emotional weight will be one of the biggest tests of her championship potential. And as we step back and look at the bigger picture, something even larger becomes clear. The sport of tennis is standing on the edge of a generational shift. The old guard is slowly stepping aside, and a new, fearless generation is rising, hungry to dominate the future. And right at the center of that revolution stands a 20-year-old from the Philippines, Alex Eala. Alex Eala now stands at the forefront of a global movement in women's tennis. The next 2 weeks in Miami Gardens are about far more than just another tournament on the calendar. They represent a profound test of character. Because in tennis, there are no hiding places. There is no clock you can run down to escape pressure. There are no teammates you can pass the ball to when things go wrong. It's just you, your racket, the opponent across the net, and the suffocating weight of expectations. And very soon, we're going to find out exactly what Eala is made of. But in many ways, she has already given us the answer. Instead of fearing the pressure, she has embraced it. Instead of focusing on a single tournament outcome, she has made it clear that she's playing the long game. That mindset alone has already won her the most important battle of all, the battle against fear. Because when a player truly stops fearing failure, they become incredibly dangerous. If she loses those 390 ranking points, Eala has already made her philosophy clear. She'll simply go back to work, return to the practice court, and climb the mountain again. That is the mentality of a future champion. That is the here-to-stay attitude that separates short-lived sensations from the legends who shape the sport. But make no mistake, she has no intention of going down quietly. The courts of the Miami Open are where Eala first experienced the rare air of global tennis stardom, and she will defend that territory with everything she has. Expect the left-handed forehand to be heavier. Expect the court coverage to be even more relentless. Expect the competitive fire to burn brighter than ever. Because a motivated athlete with nothing to lose emotionally can be the most dangerous force in professional sports. For fans of the game, this is an incredible moment to witness. Whether you're watching from the Philippines, the United States, or anywhere else in the world, you're seeing the rise of a true trailblazer. So keep your eyes on the draw of the Miami Open over the next few days. Watch how Eala navigates her opening matches. Pay attention to her body language, her tactical adjustments, and the intensity in her eyes. Because the famous Sunshine Double is reaching its boiling point, and Alex Eala may be the spark that ignites the entire tournament. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive today. If you enjoyed this kind of detailed tennis analysis, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update as we follow Eala's journey through Miami and beyond. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think Alex Eala can successfully defend those massive ranking points this year? Or will the pressure of the top 30 prove to be too great? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Until next time, enjoy the tennis, appreciate the greatness unfolding on the court, and stay passionate about the sport we all love.